All right, so this is my outdoor wood boiler project I built. I started building it in January of 2022. I tried to build it as cheaply and as quickly as possible. I think it turned out pretty good. There's a couple of things I would have done differently, but it works good. It's hooked up to the house now. It's been heating the house since the fall this year, and I'm happy with it. Um, is burning quite a bit of wood, but basically about what I would have expected. So not a big deal. So I prepared just a little slideshow of how I made it. And then at the end, I have a cost breakdown of how much it all costs to put together. So I started with one of these 420-pound propane tanks that I got from the local propane dealer. I paid $100 each. For some reason, I thought I would buy two. I don't know why. I ended up selling the second one for $100. So essentially, I bought one for $100. I cut the top off right at the weld. Gave me a nice straight line to cut with. I just used cut-off discs. It probably took like 25 discs to cut it all the way around. And I made this whole thing just in my driveway at home last winter. So no garage, no nothing. I used a gas cylinder, a scrap gas cylinder for the chimney coming out the back. I got that for free and welded it in. I cut this hole for the gas cylinder with the torch and cleaned it up a little bit. Got it welded in, and then I welded the whole thing to a piece of 1/4 inch plate that I got from the local metal dealer. I used a piece that was 5 feet by 5 feet. It cost around $240 I paid for that piece. And then, yeah, I got the whole thing welded up there. I don't know if that weld looks good or not, but it's what I had. I pressure tested it with air. I just welded an air fitting right into the whole thing. There you see the circle. I had it dead center in this plate. And then I cut a hole out for the door. Luckily, I had the circle where I welded as a guide. I think the door works out to, I think it was 22.5 inches by 22.5 inches square. Then I got one of these scrap diesel tanks. Here's photos of me loading it in the truck. It still had a bit of diesel in it. This was the tag on it. It was a 2,320 liter tank. And here the thickness of the wall was 2.5 millimeter. It was a single wall, so it was easy to work with. Brought it home. I made my measurements for how long I wanted it. I cut it right down the middle with cut-off discs again. And then I cleaned out the inside really good, and I cut a hole for the chimney to come through and put it on. I tried to grind it as flat as I could. I didn't fit it up very well, so the welding got pretty out of control, especially to make it not leak, but I got it 100% leak free in the end. And do I have a picture of that? No, I moved let's see here. Yeah, you see in this picture, there's only one set of legs. I cut the other set of legs off. The other part here and welded them on, and I made this frame. I had this, I think it's 3x5 or 4x6. Maybe it's 3x6. Thick wall, square tube. I already had that from a different project. Welded it on for legs. You see here is how I welded the outside diesel tank on. You see I didn't weld it centered. I left more room for water at the top and a little bit more room for water on the left side because that was the side I was just going to draw off of. I made this thing to slip over that gas cylinder coming out the back for the chimney. I bought it. It was a piece of 12x12 1/4 inch wall. And I used a piece of the gas cylinder to fit the chimney on. I think I paid $40 for that piece. I paid the welder $40 to cut the circular hole and to cut the gas cylinder with the bandsaw because I thought that would get it a little bit straighter than I could have done at home. This is what was left of that diesel tank after. This was me making the door. I used the piece I cut out of the plate. This was some heavy angle iron. I think it was 4x6 or 3x6 angle iron. I cut that up to make the door insert, and I made the door just out of this other angle iron I had. And you see there it is all fitted up. And then I started building the frame out of this. I think it was 1x2 rectangle tubing. It used to be a pallet rack. So I got that for cheap on the internet. And then yeah, I welded in my bungs. This was the well for the thermometer for the temperature control. And you see the bottom here was where I was going to draw the water from. Yeah, I put a roof on it. You see how the weather changes. This took a while. I didn't do this all in one day. And I got this sheet of the rock wool insulation. I used that for the front. And I put insulation all in the back. The whole building is filled with insulation. I got all this tin from the sheet metal dealer in town. I think I paid him $420 cash, and that was for all of the siding, the roof, all the transitions, the corners, all the screws. They cut it all to measure. They were good to work with. Yeah, I put this vent stack in the top. I used the existing bung for the diesel tank, brought that out the top. I got this 8-inch chimney on Facebook Marketplace. I paid $200. I think I got 5 or 6 pieces of it. It was in pretty good shape. And then yeah, I dug a trench to go into the house. I actually did this all by hand. I didn't want to spend any more money. But the soil was pretty rocky, so actually I couldn't get that deep. But the boiler dealer said it would be good. I think the deepest spots is 4 feet deep. At the shallowest spot, it's maybe 20 inches. So we'll see how that goes. But yeah, you see some of these rocks were so big I had to put ratchet straps around them and use the tractor to lift them out of the hole. It was pretty intense. And then I dug under this interlocking slab here. This was actually when we bought the house. There was a hot tub here, and we got rid of the hot tub. But used this interlocking slab. It was already in a good spot, so that saved me having to make that. Here, this was just one shot, all the rocks we had to take out of the hole. This was the heat exchanger I put in the furnace. I think it was rated for 100,000 BTU. And this was the pipe we put in. It was from the local central boiler dealer. We used a 78 feet of pipe. I put a electrical wire in there too, so I have electricity. This was the first pump I bought. I got it on Kijiji here. It was a high capacity. It says $300. He sold me one for $120. I put it in and it was nothing but trouble. It never worked right. It was too powerful. It would always cavitate. It was pumping the water way too fast. You could hear it coming through the pipe. It used a lot of power. And then it ended up, I guess I damaged it. Running it cavitating so much, it would just seize, and you would come home and the house was cold. It was not the right pump to buy. I ended up getting one of these on Amazon. I think it cost around $100, $120, and then I bought an identical one on Kijiji from a guy that was brand new for $30. So I use this one, and I have a spare of the same one, and it seems to be working perfect. It pumps enough water. It doesn't cavitate. It sounds like it's really happy. So here's my list of all my expenses here. We have the propane tank, all the steel, all the welding supplies. I used 3 10-pound rolls of MIG wire. I used $120 of cutoff discs. I used 2 tanks of argon. I used $100 for oxygen. I bought all the boiler stuff from Alt Heat Supply. That was the heat exchanger, the aquastat, the blower motor, the solenoid for the draft, and the dry well for the aquastat. Bought a 100-foot roll of PEX pipe for $60 from a guy in Kijiji. I bought the pump for $120. I bought flanges for it that were only 3/4. They weren't big enough, so I bought the 2 other pumps. I bought another set of flanges. Spent $400 and some on insulation. The panels of insulation I bought new. I bought 2 packs of insulation from Home Depot. I got 2 more packs of insulation from a guy on Kijiji. Paid $420 for the tin. I bought a sheet metal nibbler for $60, a pair of snips. I broke a shovel digging that hole, so I have $30 for another shovel in there. I put the electrical wire, that was $100. The chimney was $200. The chimney support I bought brand new from Home Depot. It was $120. The underground pipe was $1,800 after tax from the Central Boiler Dealer. Bought a drill bit to put a hole in the foundation. That was $35. Bought a tube of caulking to seal that hole. I bought some spray foam for the building. I bought a new thermostat for the house, which I ended up not using, but still that cost $30. I bought brand new angle iron with the holes in it to put the heat exchanger in. I bought a roll of aluminum tape. I paid $230 for 3 jugs of water treatment from the Central Boiler Dealer, which I kind of regret now because I see it's only $50 online. I should have just bought that. I brought in a load of sand to fill the hole. The guy charged me $60. I paid that welder in town $40 to help fabricate my chimney support. I put $150 for gas for my truck driving around for all this stuff. Like, that didn't cost nothing. I bought the light for the front of it. That was $30. And then for all the plumbing fittings, I didn't tabulate all the receipts exactly, but I estimate it was $250. Like, buying all those little pipe fittings and shark bite fittings and valves and cast iron elbows and all that stuff. That cost $250 easy, I would say. So if you add up all that stuff, the whole project was $6,092. I'm not sure if that's good or not. We got a quote originally from the Central Boiler Dealer, and everything to have them just do the whole thing was going to be close to $20,000, and I couldn't afford that. So this was the best I could come up with. If I was going to do it again, there would be a few things I would change, but all in all, I'm happy with it. You guys let me know in the comments if you think $6,092 was a good deal, or if there was something you would have done different.